James, looking to fend off Scurra. Scurra, whose brother Sean played here at Port Melbourne. Dempster had his name all over that one. Well, he said he would love to go out with a grand final. I'm sure he's going to do all in his power to get them there. Long way away as Robinson hauls in another.
He's a beautiful footballer. If we could see this on the screen, we see Robinson trying to gain the best position, and he's always darting and moving. At the last minute, he's just there to pluck the mark.
Well, he can't miss this.
Well, the odds in this particular occasion, Phil, you're one guy that, you know, does look for value.
That one's through. It just sneaks through. His 59th goal of the season. Now that he's found the big opening, I'm sure what Dempster was telling him, you're going to keep it a kick-a-bag day today, Keith.
You know, that's great play by Robinson. He was behind, but he was always on the move. And then when the ball dropped, Shully was able to just gain the front position from Dean Crimes. A very hard player to play. And I think Robbie Evans, who was a top player at Coburg over the years, regard him as one of the toughest players in the V.F.A.
So just 2 goals the difference after 27 minutes. So Port have had most of the play but haven't capitalised. Penalty to going to Justin Paul. Gasparoni on a lead. He thrusts himself with the ball. Second possession to the big centre-half forward. Looks for Rainsford. Oh, and he got a hand to it. Stewart. Difficult one for Jeffs. Oh, chance for the Borough. James, can he get onto his left foot? He does, but it's an ineffective kick. Cleared by Clark to half-back. And Donald goes backwards. Dangerously intercepted. Morgan, he's showing lots of grit, isn't he? The half-back. Gives it everything. Nickel. Perhaps time for a Springvale goal. Nickel looks for Dempster. Cameron is a bit shorter, but he uses the body well. Scurra onto the left foot. Long at goal. It got it, I think.
Gee, that was a superb goal. That's an inspiring team-lifting goal, this. And here we see Dempster being edged out of the contest, but beautifully read by Scurra. And on that left foot, that went all of 40, 45 metres.
They're a worry, the left footers, when they go on that turn, aren't they, Sam?
And really, all of a sudden, they find themselves just a solitary major behind.
Maloney didn't get it out straight away. Could King. This is Coop over the top of it. Battled on well, Doug Coop. Still not out of the square. We'll need a bounce to get rid of it from underneath Rod Morgan.
Port led by 25 minutes at the 25 points, I should say, at the 19.5-minute mark. And let it slip.
I remember last year's grand final. Williamstown got off to a great start against Springvale. Yeah, it's ricocheted nicely to James. He's doubled back Rainsford, but James is going to try and go the whole way. Won't have the legs.
Well done, Paul Smith there too. Very good play.
Perhaps should have got rid of it a little bit earlier, James. Rainsford had a bit of a run. But they do have the lead at quarter time. 5 points for Port Melbourne.
Shackles of their tags, and Robinson, of course, at full forward being such a focal point. I thought, you know, Springvale would, you know, just crush their opposition. But to Port Melbourne's credit, this is the most resolve that they've displayed for about 6 or 7 weeks. And to their credit, they bounce back and they're still in with a chance. But they're really falling down badly, and it's their experienced key personnel that are letting them down, namely the likes of Stephen Jones, Rainsford. They need a bigger lift from their players. Justin Paul, while doing well in the ruck, Paul, is playing a different role to Big Simon Clark, playing more a defensive role than the initiating role that Clark's playing.
Yes, I think really, Peter, the loss of Laffey before the game has been critical. And you think that Port are only 2 goals down, and they're doing it very hard in the ruck. Simon Clark just dominating to an unbelievable extent, really, in a final. And I think that's just really the difference. Certainly Robinson down there has to be contained, but if you put Laffey back in the ruck, Port really would be going well. It's a good contrasting game. Port Melbourne's runners are just superb. When the ball hits the deck, the likes of Harkins are onto it. And they really set the play up. But Springvale, on the other hand, big and strong. Drive the ball long, take the big marks. There's Clark, of course, in defence. and a key forward in Clark.
They're backing themselves in defence with those marks, aren't they?
Well, they are, you know. They can get away with it against Port Melbourne. They could run into a bit of trouble against a side like Dandenong, for instance, if they tried that. And there's Robinson again. But I think Springy will go on with the job. But a lot of admiration on my part for Port Melbourne, because I reckon it's been a very game fight, and they're certainly not out of the contest.
Well, certainly the likes of Adam James, I thought Kieran's done a superb job in blanketing Nicol at centre-half forward. You know, I shudder to think if Nicol was on the job, and the amount of opportunities he's had, you know, if he had been able to hold his marks and convert, I think, you know, Port Melbourne would have really struggled. But the younger lights, Adam Bailey, you know, the Jameses and the Baileys are doing very well.
The coach of Port Melbourne, Doug Searle.
Is going to be needed. Real character is going to be up for grabs. And if you take a look at him, Max's please. Good play the way he's just worked his arse off. I got no doubt you win the game. Come on. Attack this top win a game like this in the final in a close effort. We've gone backwards when we've been in this situation before. It hasn't happened today. You've worked yourself back. Come on, boys. You just got to keep working and believe in yourself. And you've got to run, and now's the time you take risks. You take risks, and when they've got it, plant them in the ground and let them
Oh, they're fired up. It's good to see the players are excited too, Peter. I think it's very important when you're coaching, if you think you've stirred things up a bit, and if the players respond, you might be going places.
I just wonder whether they've expended too much energy, though. They really worked and chased and harassed. Have they got anything left in the tank?
Well, if Gasparoni, the switch of Gasparoni into the ruck does the trick, boy, that could open things right up. And you think of how Clark's dominated. That was the Foley goal early in the game from a mistake by Springvale. Gerard Foley been around for a while. Good. And there's Gasparoni rucked well there. Harkin's a good one back, and I think that was King, was it? Put it through.
He got dragged in that quarter for an indiscretion.
Yes.
I thought he'd been playing well up to then. I guess it's a thing that coaches do nowadays.
You have to be careful about it.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yes.
Here we see.
It was a gift goal.
Wasn't it ever? Robinson responded by kicking it into the trees. It's Reese punching on the left hand, as he's been doing all day. Maloney getting plenty of the ball, and Stewie Nicol really at odds. Cooper cross. Oh no, lucky to get out of this. Robbo should have been saying, well, here's goal number 6, I think.
It's a regulation mark missed on Dempster to Nicol. And really, Nicol at centre-half forward, you're right, it's been well held. But really, the quarter was just one of a fantastic game of football. Gasparoni to Jennings, who lifted in that game with his, pace.
He's fresh too, so and he'll go on with the job.
Adam James has played a super game, you know, when you consider it's only his second game. And Paul, of course, is a potential match winner.
Well, he could worry them on that forward line. When they've tried, Gasparoni's been working well, but if Paul can take a few marks and Gasparoni can get on top, well.
Players that early on set Port on fire, but undermanned. They've come up against a determined Springvale today who've held their ground and look like going through to the first semi-final. Reese that time. James comes down with it, but can't get his handball away because Malin's got his hand. 10 points. They've won now 7 out of 8, Springvale. Port Melbourne stemmed a losing streak to get into the finals, but couldn't go on with it despite their very...
Thanks, Ross. Simon, congratulations on behalf of Forwards Express. Fine game today.
Thank you.
Well done to Springvale team. Best luck for the rest of the finals.
Thanks,
series, mate.
And the keys to the Master, Simon.
Beauty. Thanks.
Well, I guess you might have been a bit worried during the week having to front the tribunal, but you got through that all right?
Yeah, well, there's nothing right to the start, so I was pretty confident, yeah.
Yes, and an enormous number of hit-outs there. You really absolutely dominated the run.
Oh, yeah, well, it helps when you got the little blokes on the ground like Shark and Coopy. It really helps you, like, when you're going for the ball up there.
So it was a hard sort of game, wasn't it? It struggled to break free. Port never gave up. They just hung in there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they never go all day. It was credit to them, but yeah, it's great to come out with a win, yeah.
What was the game like to play in? I mean, there didn't seem to be much spite in it at all. Just a tough one?
Oh, yeah, it was tough, yeah. They're all tough. We've had a big tough last month, but yeah, we're glad to get through it.
And what is the feeling about the club? I mean, I'm sure I asked Phil Mail, he'll say we'll take it week by week, but do you fancy a chance that you can go all the way and make the grand final, for example?
Oh, yeah, but, you know, we've got to take it week by week. You know, looking too far ahead, I reckon. Next week, we'll look at next week from here. Okay. And see how we go from there.
Thanks, Simon.
I'd also like to thank Wards Express and Mazda for the... thanks.
Okay, Simon Clark and Sam, he's been to the school too. And I know, I'm sorry I poured coffee over at half-time, Sam, because I've got water over me, so we're even. But for the moment, let's go back to John Bell in the studio.
The best game, but I guess the team didn't really play all that well today. Look, couldn't get our game going, and we just held on there at the end.
And you actually got a little bit excited or frustrated at the end. That's very unusual for you.
Oh, it's just part and parcel of the game.
Well played, Graham. Okay. A terrific career by you. And a word to another very good player today, Michael Jeffs. You seem to love running out of the back line there.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's picked up over the last couple of weeks. I haven't had a great year, but just building up for the finals, and hopefully we'll keep going on further.
Terrific, Michael. And a word here from Doug Coop, the assistant coach. Dougie, any success with enticing back Graham Atkins?
That guy's a lazy bugger. I work with him. He doesn't do anything at work, so I don't think he's going to come back, although he'd like to.
Okay. Well, no success here with Graham Atkins, but Sam, I've really copped it, so I think I'll go back to you.
Well, it's good that we're square now, Ross, but certainly is a victory conducive to a bit of frivolity and the spirit in the Springvale room at the moment.